हरि ओम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनामधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। Welcome you all to this another session of Abhijnana Sakuntalam, and we are reading Abhijnana Sakuntalam of Kavikula Guru Kalidasa in the Open Learning for All Ola lecture series on Sahitya, Sanskrita Sahitya Rasaswada. We read a very beautiful verse, and these are the observations of King Dushyanta. Just think, King Dushyanta is born and brought up in a city. He is not much accustomed to the Tapovana Shaili or Tapovana style of life, and yet the observations which he has done, it is not his observations, it is Kalidasa's observations. Very closely, the natural surroundings of the ashrama, how do they look like? So, what we all feel, that Kalidasa must have studied in one such Gurukula where he has really experienced this, because this is experiential knowledge and not just a learnt knowledge or a bookish knowledge. Okay, so we'll quickly have a recap. Nivara Shukagarbha Kotara Mukha Bhrashtaha Taruna Madhaha Nivaraha. How are they? Bhrashtaha, fallen down from the Kotara Mukha, from the hollows, the open space of the hollows, wherein are staying the parrots. Shuka Garbha. Prasnigdhaha kvachidingudi falabhida suchanta evo palaha. At some places you find the Nivara. At some other places you find the oily stones. They have turned oily. Prasnigdhaha, very, very oily. Prakarshena snigdhaha, because ingudi falabhidaha. Because ingudi phalas, the nuts of ingudi, are broken on that by the batus. So many brahmacharis and tapasas, 10,000, the Gurukula of Kulapati, right? So many people must be using all around the stones, lying on the ground to break the ingudi, to extract oil, to apply to their bodies to keep them moist, or even to burn the lamps. Vishwasopagama dabhinnagatayaha shabdam sahante mrigaha. The young ones, the fawns, etc., of the young deer, they are roaming around and grazing very freely without any fear, and they are not even bothered about the ratha shabda. Shabdam sahante. They are, okay, chalta hai. So, Shabdam Sahante, why? Vishwasopagamat. They have that Vishwasa. They have that faith, the trust that in the ashrama, nobody will harm them, nobody will kill them, nobody will trouble them at all. And therefore, they have gained that confidence, Vishwasa, Upagamat. And therefore, Abhinnagatayaha, while they are grazing, the Ratha chariot sound is making, the wheels are making the sound, but they are least bothered, and they don't even change their course of going, Abhinnagatayaha. And this happens some places, and some other places, 4 observations, right? Some other places, Toyadhara Pathascha Valkala Shikha Nishyand Rekhankitaha. Toyadhara Pathaha Rekhankitaha. The paths to the reservoirs of water are all marked with a line, with a wet line of the drops trickling down, dripping down from the wet bark garments. Valkala Shikha, from the fringes of the Valkala garments, the bark garments. Valkala Shikha, and the Shikha would naturally collect all the water and drip it down drop by drop so as to create a line, a wet line. Okay, so Rekhankitaha. After this verse, in some editions there is one more verse. Many critical editors have not included that, but that's a very wonderful verse. I would like to read it. So, this Raghava Bhatta hasn't much commented upon it, and other editors have not taken it, but he has given it as maybe Kechit Atra Pathanti or Pathyate Kaishchit Api Cha. And one more observation, again this is a verse recited by Dushyanta. Kulyambhobhihi pavana chapalaihi shakhino dhautamulaha bhinno ragaha kisalaya rucham ajya dhumodgamena ete cha arvak upavana bhuvi chinna darbhankurayam nashta shanka harina shishavaha mandamandam charanti. Harina shishavaha mandamandam charanti. Harina shishavaha, ऊपर भी हमने देखा, the mrigaha abhinnagatayaha. So here he is specifically making a comment, these are the young ones, not the adult harinas, adult deer, but the young ones of the deer. Harina shishavaha mandamandam charanti. They are charanti, they are walking, they are grazing slowly and slowly, slowly and gradually. That mandam is, again this highlights how confident they are. I mean, if from some corner there is a danger, they would be alarmed by that, and they would run away from there. Okay? Even if they are manda in the beginning, they would be fast moving to get away from the site. But here mandam charanti. Harina shishavaha. Why? The karana is also provided there. Nashta shankaha. Ashanka eva nasti tatra. Bhayam nasti. Trasaha nasti. Kutaha api trasaha nasti. From nowhere they have any fear of whatsoever. Nothing, nothing is going to harm them. Nashta, ashanka, yebhyaha, tadrishaha, harina shishavaha, tatra, mandam charanti. Now, the other things, in the verse, the first three lines, they are also some other observations. Some of these are repetitively done, okay? Kulyambhobhihi pavana chapalaihi shakhinaha dhautamulaha. Shakhinaha nama kim? Vrikshaha. Shakhaha asya santi iti shakhin nama taruhu vrikshaha. Vrikshaha kasmat vrutva ksham tishtati asau. Vriksha, in the Nirukta, Yaska says, why a tree is called vriksha? Because it covers a very expansive place, a territory of the earth, and stands there like big banyan tree, the shady tree. That is called vriksha. Okay? So, vrutva ksham tishtati iti vrikshaha. He is called Shakhin. Why? Shakhaha santi iti. And very interestingly, what Yaska has to say about Shakha. Shakhaha kasmat. Khe sherante iti shakhaha. Kha is avakasha, akasha, space. Sherante, they just lie down, they recline in the sky, in the mid-space. A big tree, like a banyan tree, horizontally and vertically it grows. Horizontally, the branches spread out. We feel as if somebody is sleeping, The branches are sleeping there, horizontal to the ground. So, Khe sherante iti shakha. What a wonderful vitpatti. So, sh and kha, and then every pada, every syllable, not pada, akshara. Akshara samanyena va nirbruyat, natveva na nirbruyat. So, shakhinaha vrikshaha. They are dhautamulaha. Their moola, their roots are being washed away. Washed, not away, they are washed, they are bathed, they are moistened. Dhautamulaha. Pani khilte mulanshi. Okay. Why so? Kulyambobhihi, because there are kulya. Kulya nama kritrima sarit. Kulya is a canal. Kulya is a canal and it is described as kritrima sarit. It's an artificial river. It is made to flow. Okay? Because you get the source of the water from something else. You dig up a canal to the big trees. Now these are the big trees, not exactly in the ashrama, in the precincts, in the environs of the ashrama. They don't need much water, but there are canals dug and the canal water is flowing, you know. If you go to big farms and all, you see the water channel being prepared. Even to the big trees, they are watered, especially in this chuda, you know, Bhayankara chuda. Here in Kerala, it's very, very hot. So in this chuda, that is the Grishma, this is no Vasanta, this is Grishma. So in that, the big trees also need water. They also need to drink water. And therefore, Dhautamulaha, their roots are washed. Their roots are like cooled down, so that through the roots, with the capillary action, that moisture, that water content will go to the tip of the tree, the last leaf on the last branch of the tree, vertically grown, right? Kulyambobhihi, ambhas is water, kulya is kritrima sarit, the water which flows through these canals, through that waters, the shakins, the trees, their roots are washed. How is this water? There is one more adjective, pavana chapalaihi. There are little waves, you know, in the water while it is flowing, because there is wind blowing. So, pavana chapalaihi kulyambobhihi dhautamulaha shakinaha. Okay, so this is clear. Then, bhinno ragaha kisalaya rucham ajyadhumodgamena. Kisalaya rucham ragaha bhinnaha. Kisalaya is tender foliage, tender leaves, you know. First, when the tree brings forth, sprouts forth the leaves are little bit reddish violet in color. They are not green in color. Slowly they turn to the parrot green and then to the dark green. It's very fun watching the change of the color in the leaves of the trees. In front of my room, in this webinar room, in front of that, in that quadrangle, there is a nice Sita Ashoka tree. And you know, when the tender foliage appears, it is so soft, so tender, so delicate and so good to see, because it is not just green. The other tree is green, the other leaves look green, but the tender kisalaya, the word kisalaya also, you know, palvi, kovli palvi. So this is very, very tender and this has a different color. But that color had changed. Bhinnaha ragaha, changed color. It gets a changed color due to what? Ajyadhumodgamena. Because in the vicinity of the ashrama, there are certain yajnas being performed, the sacrifices being performed. In the sacrifices, there will be ahutis given. And for the ahutis and the fire to be ablaze, ghrita would be offered, right? So, ajya is ghrita. There are three words, ajya, ghrita and sarpihi. Three words are there, you know, for what you can say, clarified butter. That is the English translation, very not so good. Toop, ghee, ghrita. So, ghrita is the, what you can say, the solid form of this ghrita, solid. Ghrita is solid. Sarpihi, because it is through sarati, it has to be melted ghrita. And ajya could be a generic name, and ajya is not specifically ghrita. In fact, for ajya, you know, there is another verse also is given for ajya. Ghritam va yadiva tailam payova dadhiyavakam ajyasthane niyuktanam ajya shabdo vidhiyate. So this is in some Dharmashastra text, I don't know, from somebody, I think from some dictionary or something I got it. Ghritam va yadi va tailam. Ajya could mean anything which is offered as some sort of a snigdha padartha, some oily, padartha, oily havir dravya. It could be ghrita, it could be the ghrita, the ghee, toop, clarified butter, or taila, tila taila. When you say taila, tilebhyaha tailam. The original word taila is derived only from tila. So what you extract from sesame, right? So sesame oil only deserves to be known as taila, but then later on taila became a generic name for any oil, and therefore we say coconut oil, coconut, khobrel tel, tel, shengdanache tel. Tel is basically taila from tila, but taila becomes a generic name for oil. So it could be ghrita, it could be taila, it could be paya, that is milk, it could be dadhi. Anything which is offered in the homa is called ajya. So ajya is more or less a havir dravya which has an oily content, a lubricant sort of content which makes the fire ablaze, be it oil or ghee or any such thing through which the flames would rise up. So otherwise this ajya could be, from aja, a goat, female goat. Aja is a goat, and aja is the feminine of a goat, she goat. So maybe originally, as taila is originally the sesame oil, similarly ajya maybe, this is just my guess, ajya may be basically the goat milk produce, ajya. Ajya could also be a tadhita from aja. Ajasya idam iti ajyam. Aja is the name. Aja is the name of Dasharatha's father. There are names like that, right? So ajya, I'm just talking about from the grammatical point of view. This could be a tadhita as well, ajya. And this is havaniya padartha. Havaniya padartha. This is ajya is derived from a plus anja, anakti iti. A plus anja plus kya pratyaya, and this ajya shabdaha vidhiyate. This is also called to be a stoma bheda. In the Sama Veda, it is Sama Bheda or Stoma Bheda. This is one of the Samans, Ajya Samiya. Okay, so Ajya has these different meanings. Now Ajya Dhumodgamena, what does it mean? When Ajya is offered, there is Dhuma, there is fire, there is Dhuma, and the Dhuma renders its blackish soot, to the nearby leaves of the trees, and therefore the kisalaya, which needs to be looked or needs to be seen as like little reddish or violetish in color, it is looking little bit darker for us because ajya dhumodgamena. Now this is a typical sight, around the Agnihotra being done or around the yajnas being done, all the leaves etc. they turn blackish. You must have, we all must have seen on the construction sites, nearby trees, they all get powdered by the cement and the concrete and all. And how do they look? The green leaves of the trees, they are all turned into white dust because of the cement every time, big construction sites. So this is very natural. Ajya dhumodgamena bhinnaha ragaha. Kasya bhinnaha ragaha? Kisalaya rucham. Ruch also means color. The color of the kisalaya has changed because of ajya dhumodgamena. Okay, and etecha arvak upavana bhuvi chinna darbhankurayam. And now this nashta shanka harina shishavaha mandam charanti, where chinna darbhankurayam arvak, upavana bhuvi. Arvak upavana bhuvi. In the grounds of this upavana, nearby abhoga, ashrama bhoga stapovanasya, we saw last time. So in this nearby areas, chinna darbhankurayam bhuvi. How is this bhu? The darbha which is growing there, it is cultivated for the yajniya purposes. Now the darbha, the tips of that darbhankura have been chinna, have been cut off. Cut off for what? For the darbhasana, etc., for the yajniya purposes. And last time we saw cutting down the tips of these grasses, very sharp, pointed, their edges are, they pierce you. So you need much extra skill. Without getting yourself hurt, you have to cut that, with your fingers, 2 fingers. So the Upavana Balakaha, they have already cut the tips of the darbha, and therefore now these Harina Shishavaha, for them, otherwise that sharp pointed grass will cut their tongues. Harina Shishu, they are so young. We have later on this reference. And Shakuntala, put some ointment to that Mrigapotaka because it has got its tongue cut. Right? And therefore, now this Kalidasa has made a special observation that the darbha tips are already being cut. They are plucked by the Tapasa boys. Chinna darbhankurayam upavana bhuvi. And therefore it is very safe now for the Harina Shishus to graze upon it. Right? So Harina Shishus are not going out. They are grazing in the premises. Right? Chote bacche nahi jate hai bahar. And for them, every safety, for their security, every care has been taken that the darbha tips have been already plucked, so that if they are grazing on the grass, that won't hurt their tongues. So chinna darbhankurayam, and therefore nashtashankaha could be the blades of the grass won't hurt them, and another shanka, ashanka, from any corner in this ashrama. There is no shanka, there is no ashanka, bhaya for them, because they are well protected. Okay, so this is a protected zone for them, and therefore they can wander freely, fearlessly. So again a very beautiful verse, and therefore I wanted to read it. And later on we will have Kusha Suchi Viddhaha, Mrigapotakaha and all that. Okay, so this is what Kalidasa has observed in another verse. And after that, after these 2 verses of the king, Suta says, Sarvam Upapannam. Yes, Ayushman, whatever you say, it's so very logical. It falls in the line, because I can also observe, and therefore these are the premises of the ashrama. Anybody can make it out. Stokam antaram gatva. They are not alighting there itself. They are going near and near the ashrama. Right? These are just the outer skirts of the ashrama. They have to go inside the ashrama dwara. So stokam antaram gatva, with the same speed in the chariot they are moving. Stokam antaram gatva tapovana nivasinam uparodho mabhut etavati eva ratham sthapaya yavat avatarami. The king commands Suta, the charioteer, that stop the chariot here only. Because if you go on in this chariot, see, now here there are some Harina Shishavaha. Afterwards there will be some Balakaha, Muni Balakaha, and some young kids playing around, So we should not cause any problem to them. Na uparodhaha ma bhut iti. Uparodha vyatyaya. Uparodha sankata. Uparodha is hindrance, impediment. Let us not cause any trouble to them. And therefore, etavati eva ratham sthapaya yavat avatarami. And therefore you halt this here. I don't want to disturb the entire environment here, and I don't want to cause any inconvenience to the residents of the ashrama, and therefore you stop here only. Yavad avatarami, I will get down. Dhritaha pragrahaha avataratu ayushman. So dhritaha pragrahaha, yad ajñapayati ayushman, and then you can get down. Avatirya, so it has to be acted as if he is putting one foot down and then another, like that. Okay. Avatirya Suta Vinita Veshena Praveshtavyani Tapovanani Nama. The Tapovana, if I am going to enter on the invitation of that Vaikhanasa, I can't enter like a king. I am visiting an ashrama, right? I am not visiting another king. And therefore, Vinita Veshena Gantavyam Praveshtavyani Tapovanani Nama. And therefore, I should take out all my regal, the jewelry, the crown and other things. And idam tavat grihatam, and saying this, iti sutasya abharanani dhanushcha upaniya arpayati or upanayati. Sutasya upanayati, he gives it to the Suta. Dhanu also, he doesn't carry them. In the ashrama, what is the need of dhanu now, right? So, dhanu and abharanani, all the alankara, the crown, etc. Suta, yavad ashramavasinaha pratyaveksha aham upavarte, till I come after seeing the ashramavasin, tavad, till then, ardra prishtaha kriyantam vajinaha. Till then, you make the horses with their backs moist. घोड्यांच्या पाठीवर पाणी घाल. They are also tired. They have also been running so fast, chasing that deer. The horses are also running. Nirayata, nibritordhvakaranaha, etc. We saw their description, right? So they are also tired. So they need rest for a while. And for resting them, घोड्याला पाणी पाज, that is one thing. Or kriyantam ardra prishtaha, pour some water on their backs so that they get cooled down. Ardra prishtaha kriyantam. So this is a, what you can say, idiomatic expression. That means let the horses have some rest. They need a break. Obviously, the king doesn't want to take Suta inside the ashrama. Whatever happens has to be his own experience. He is going to meet sooner Shakuntala. He doesn't want anybody else to see her. He doesn't want, means Kalidasa doesn't want anybody else. Because when in the fifth act, the repudiation happens, Shakuntala Tyaga happens, nobody will recognize her because nobody has seen her. If other people were to be going with him, even Vidushaka doesn't see her. So all these people, are deliberately kept away. They have not had even a glance at Shakuntala, and therefore nobody can remind the king, oh, this is the Shakuntala, no, you were talking about. Even if king is under the influence of the curse, the others are not. And to avoid this embarrassing situation later, it is very wise on the part of Kalidasa, on the part of Dushyanta, to keep Suta away. And this is so very logical. Suta has to take care of his horses because they have to go back again, right? Until then, they must be resting well. The horses also need the rest. Suta also needs the rest. So, ardra prishtaha kriyantam vajinaha, and you also take some rest. Till that time, I will go and come back. It is not going to be so soon, but yet the king says, Yavad ashramavasinaha pratyaveksha upavarte. After meeting them, after seeing them, I come back. Till then, you take rest. Tatha iti nishkrantaha. Now the king is left alone. Parikramya avalokya. Now he has to go near the ashrama. So this is the stage direction, as if he is going little bit distance. Now this little bit distance going horizontally in a linear way is not possible on the limited capacity of the stage, and therefore it is always parikramya. So one parikrama means he has gone a few distance, few steps ahead or few meters ahead. Okay, parikramya avalokya idam ashramadvaram. So he has come near that. He may take 2 rounds also. Okay, so idam ashramadvaram. Now there must be some canopy like thing. This is the main, and from here the real ashrama starts. Otherwise the other things, there are some yajnas taking place outside the big yajnas. They need bigger space, open space, and therefore they must be performed outside the main ashrama. Inside the main ashrama there will be the kutiya of Kanava Muni, kutiya of the Paranakuti of Shakuntala and other people, and there will be some small trees, like a small garden in and around the kutiya, right? So parikramya avalokya idam ashramadvaram yavat pravishya. So as if he is entering. Nimittam suchayan, and he gets some signals. Nimittam suchayan, he gets some very positive signals, positive vibration, some throbbing in his arm. The first thing he utters is Shantamidam ashrama padam. This ashrama is so quiet. You enter any ashrama, people coming here. Last Sunday I was inviting you, please come here and experience the peaceful atmosphere, the sacred ambience here. Okay, so those who are outstation, they can also plan their trip. Kerala is a very beautiful pradesha, God's own country, very green, especially when you land and you take off, it's like Pachutsa bait. It's all green all around. It's an emerald bhumi, all green all around. And this ashrama also is not an exception to any other ashrama. Shantamidam ashrama padam. Spurati cha bahuhu. And my bahu is throbbing. Kutaha phalam ihasya. Will there be any fruit of this here in this ashrama, so far away from the city? What will I get? Normally Bahuspurana, it will suggest something good happening to you. What good can happen in an ashrama? He is so apprehensive. These are all his thoughts. One after the other, the thoughts are coming. First impression, Shantamidam ashrama padam. And then he notices Bahuspurati. Bahuspurana leads to something. Where is the opportunity? क्या chance है? इधर क्या होने वाला है? आश्रम में क्या होने वाला है? कुतः फलम इहास्य. And then he says, अथवा, or it could be said, भवितव्यानां द्वाराणि भवन्ति सर्वत्र. Who can predict? Bhavitavya, whatever is destined to happen, whatever is sure to happen, will happen wherever you go. Your bhagya waits upon you. You don't know which door will open for you at which time. You feel these doors are all closed and I have open door and a red carpet treatment only in my kingdom, only in my capital city. Not like that. Anything, good or bad, may happen anywhere for you. Bhavitavyanam dvarani bhavanti sarvatra. So this is very good, this is very indicative of what is going to happen, and his bhagya is awaiting there for him. And bhagya not only in the form of Shakuntala, who obviously he is going to wed, but the greater bhagya, Chakravartinam putram apnuhi. Unless he meets Shakuntala, unless he marries her, he will not beget a child. And he has been childless for all these years, despite being a much married man. Bahuvallabhaha rajanaha iti shruyate. Anasuya also says later on. So he must have had many, that was the custom during those times. The kings used to marry many women. Most of these were political alliances, so as to avoid the wars and the troubles. And without any war and all, you can make friends with the neighboring kingdom by marrying his daughter or his sister. So these were mostly the political alliances. Even during the time, the medieval time in the 16th, 17th century as well, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj also had many wives, right? Most of these were political marriages. So now there is one Shakunashastra called Adbhuta Sagara. He gives you Vametara Bhujaspandaha Varastri Labha Suchakaha. Vametara, Vama is left, Vametara is right. Vametara Bhujaspandaha, throbbing in that is Vara Stri Labha Suchakaha. It is Suchaka, indicative of gaining, obtaining Varastri, a best woman as your wife. Varastri Labha Suchakaha. And therefore he is saying, oh, आश्रम में कौन मिलने वाली है मुझे, राइट? एंड बट देन अगेन भवितव्यानाम द्वाराणि भवन्ति सर्वत्र, द थिंग्स विच आर डेस्टाइन्ड टू हैपन, यू नो, दे वुड हैपन एनीवेयर. भवितव्यानाम द्वाराणि, द डोर्स विल बी ओपन एनीवेयर, सर्वत्र, एवरीवेयर, रादर एवरीवेयर. अ गुड अर्थांतरन्यास. This is a particular, you know, like a universal statement. Whatever is going to happen, अनहोनी, होनी को अनहोनी करना, no, something like, होनी होके ही रहेगी, something like that. So हम झुटला नहीं सकते, होनी को अनहोनी नहीं कर सकते. Whatever is going to happen, we cannot stop it from happening. If it is bound to happen, it will happen, right? And therefore this is the underlying statement, and for that the karana, the given, is the above thing, the bahuspandaha and all, shantamidam ashrama padam. And in the shantam ashrama padam, it's not a place of happening. What is going to happen here? So that is the contrast. Kimasya kutaha phalam ihasya, when he says, this is directly in contrast with shantamidam ashrama padam. If the ashrama is so shanta, so quiet, so calm, so serene, so tranquil, what's going to happen here? Nothing seems to happen in the ashrama. It's not a much happening place. Yet something is going to happen for him, and that is given in the sentence Bhavitavyanam Dvarani. So first contrasting, Kutaha Phalamihasya, that is directly contrasted with Shantam Ashrama Padam. And yet something may happen because Bahuspurana. So all these things coming together, very beautiful Arthantaranyasa in just 2 lines of Arya. Arya is a very favorite Matra Vritta of Kalidasa. The first and third lines of these are having 12 matras. The second has Ashtadasha and the fourth has Panchadasha matra. So Arya is very favorite. I think in the 30, 32, whatever odd verses, half the verses will be in Arya. I tell you. Minimum half will be in, if not half, at least little less than half, but 10 to 15 would be in Arya. Okay. So this is Arya. Now again Nepatye. We have seen the stage direction. Something is going to happen and apravishtameva. Without entering, something, you know, is heard from a distance. So Nepatye, he listens. Ita ito sakhyau. Ita itaha sakhyau. Oh friends, come this side, come this way. Now the entry will happen. We were awaiting Shakuntala's entry for long, right? Now she will come with her friends. Ita itaha sakhyau. Karanam datva. Aye, dakshinena vrukshavatikam alapaiva shruyate. The vrukshavatika, dakshina side, there is some conversation being heard by me. Yavadatra gacchami. So let me go away, or let me go little closer and see who is coming, who is talking. Parikramya avalokyacha. He goes near that Dakshina Disha of Upavanavatika and sees from a distance. This is only acting on the part of the character Dushyanta. Aye, etaha tapasvikanyakaha. Oh, these are the hermit girls, tapasvikanyakaha. Svapramana anurupaihi sechana ghataihi balapadapebhyaha payodatum ita eva abhivartante. Aye etaha tapasvikanyakaha ita eva abhivartante. These hermit girls are coming this side only, in this direction. What are they doing? Payodatum. They are watering, giving water to what? Balapadapebhyaha, small shrubs and trees. These are what, the small trees which we plant near our kutiya, near our residence. And Balapadapebhya payodatum, naturally for watering, they are carrying the water pitchers, Sechana ghataihi, the ghata, earthen pots, which are meant for sprinkling water or watering the plants, not so big, not so small, Swa Pramana Anurupaihi, befitting, proportionate to their physical stature. Not too big, not too small like a plaything. Okay? Swapramana anurupaihi sechana ghataihi balapadapebhyaha payodatum etaha tapasvikanyakaha ita eva abhivartante. So he sees some girls, tapasvikanyakaha is in plural, so they are more than two. Obviously, because Sanskrit has dvivachana. If you want to indicate two, there is a dual number. So the plural number obviously suggests three and more, not two or one. Right? In other languages, we have only singular and plural. In Sanskrit, we have singular, dual and plural. Three numbers, three genders. Right? Dual, but he is saying tapasvikanyakaha, that means he has located minimum three kanyakaha, plural, it can't be two. Okay? Nipunam nirupya, then he has little bit gone closer, right? Dakshinataha alapaha shruyate iti, and therefore nipunam nirupya, now they are coming from a far distance. Now as they come near, the sahasa, what it becomes, magnitude, it attains the magnitude. We saw that, what was it, ramyam yadaloke sukshmam rajati sahasa tad vipulatam. So nipunam vilokya, when he, or nipunam nirupya, when he sees closely, by that time they are chatting and they are coming closer. Aho madhuramasam darshanam. How pleasant is their sight. How good to see them. So pleasing sight. So these three young ladies coming with their pitchers on their, placed on their west portion, and they are chatting with each other, maybe little water they are sprinkling on each other. They are in their own world, unaware that somebody is watching them. And so freely they will be talking, they will be walking, their body movements, everything will be very freely done. Aho madhuramasam darshanam, mark asam darshanam. He has given this compliment to all three of them. First he says, etaha tapasvikanyakaha. So there are three, and he gives a compliment, madhuram asam darshanam. All three look so charming, look so beautiful. Now this is what we say, Arundhati Darshana Nyaya, from general to particular. He yet has to identify who Shakuntala is. First he sees all three of them together, all three, the rustic beauty, their ashrama style, the bark garments, the flowers in their hands and in their chudi, whatever, and maybe malas, har they have put on in their neck also, because they are not wearing any abharana like the city girls, right? So all is by natural thing which is available abundantly around them. So madhuramasam darshanam. And then comes again a very beautiful verse and a very beautiful illustration. This is called Nidarshana Alankara. There are two Alankaras very close in the Alankara Shastra. One is Nidarshana, one is Drishtanta. Drishtanta normally comes as, giving an example to endorse something, a general thing, whereas Nidarshana are two things parallelly given as this is one pair and this is one pair, both are matching. This is like showing mirror to each one of them, Nidarshana. Shuddhantar durlabhamidam vapurashrama vasino yadi janasya duri kritah khalu gunaihi udyanalata vanalata bhihi. He says, yadi ashramavasinaha janasya idam shuddha antar durlabham vapuhu शुद्धांतर दुर्लभम वपुः तदा उद्यानलताः वनलताभिः गुणैः दूरीकृताः खलु. This could be the Anvaya. There are two illustrations, two statements, both go parallelly and both, endorse each other. Okay. In Drishtanta, one endorses the other, one is the illustration. Here both are the illustrations. How these illustrations go? On one hand, Shuddha Antaha. Anta is Antahpura, the inner palace of the king, where the Rajastriya, the women of the royal fold, they stay. That is called Antahpura. I have avoided using the word harem. This is a typically used word, harem, H-A-R-E-M. Normally the same word is used everywhere in the English translation. Antahpura has another meaning. It is, the innermost chamber for the residence of the royal women, so that they are well protected, well taken care of. Okay? It's not like a Janan Khana or a harem. So, Shuddha Antar Durlabham Idam Vapuhu Ashramavasinaha Janasya. These three ladies he is observing, all three of them very charming. They look so beautiful. They are almost of similar age, little 19-20, little kam jada, but then almost of the same age, Samavayaskaha. And they are having such a nice, what you can say, countenance and body proportions, and how they look so beautiful. Ashramavasinaha janasya vapuhu. Vapu. He is constant because first of all, what appears to you is the body, and then only you will go to the mind, right? First, whatever is most visible is body. So the body of these ashramavasi janasya, though it is singular, it is jatav ekavachanam. So the people of the ashrama, here by people he means these three ladies. If their vapu is so beautiful, which is not even accessible or easy to find in the Shuddha Antahpura, in the very pure, the interior most of the royal palace also, you cannot find such beauty which you can find here in the open, in the ashrama parisara. These are two contrasting things. Shuddha Antahpura will have nice silk cloths and so much of jewelry and makeup, and there are sairandris, there are so many maids to do their prasadhana, and that's why they look so beautiful. Here the ashramavasi jana, who is there to do their makeup and all? They are clad in bark garments that will come next, right? So, yet ashramavasi janasya vapuhu yadi shuddhantar durlabham tarhi, I must say that udyanalataha vanalatabhihi durikritaha kasmin kaihi kenava gunaihi. Then I must say that the vanalata, the fire, what is that, the forest creepers, wildly glowing, the forest creepers with, on account of their virtues, on account of their intrinsic qualities and virtues, they have surpassed the Udyanalataha. Udyanalataha are the creepers which are, by a horticulturist grows them, gives them different shapes and gives them into a canopy, molds them variously. They are artificially beautified by efforts, Udyanalata. How beautiful the canopies, etc. in the specially made garden, Shalimar garden, Nishat garden, how do they look, right? Udyanalata. So there are qualities, they are attractive, they look beautiful. But here are the Vanalata which have surpassed the Udyanalata in as regards the virtues or the qualities. So they are more beautiful. Here is another set of illustration. Udyanalata and Vanalata is one set, and Shuddha Antar Durlabham Vapu and Ashramavasi Janasya Vapu is another set. And in that contrast, he comes to a conclusion that the Ashramavasi Jana, without any makeup, without any extra effort to beautify their bodies, they look so beautiful. Like the Vanalata, which are so beautiful without being tended by a Bhagavan, a gardener, and being given in different shapes and all that stuff. So all that artificiality on one hand, and this is the natural on the other hand, and natural is more beautiful than the artificial. This is the underlying statement of this Nidarshana. This is the suggestion. So in a moment he caught that whatever beauty I cannot find in my Antahpura, I see it here in front of me. Without much ado and without having, what you can say, without being conscious of their beauty, they are so beautiful. There are some people who know that they are beautiful and they carry themselves with that grace and charm. There are some others who don't know, they are not conscious of their beauty, but they look more beautiful than those walking on the ramp. Right? So, Shuddhantar Durlabhamidam Vapuhu Ashramavasinaha Yadi, then Duri Krita Kalugunaihi Udyanalata Vanalata Bhihi. And this Vapu could be taken Vapuhu Sharire Lavanye Jale Deeptaucha Sajjane. Vapu is used not only in the sense of body, one of the sense is Sharira, but another sense, and that we can take here, that is an extended sense, Lavanya, the beauty. It's not just the body, but the beauty of the body. So, Vapuhu Sharire Lavanye Jale Deeptau. Deepti also, the glory, the splendor, right? And therefore, this is very beautiful verse. Again, a good example of Nidarshana. Yavad imam chayam ashritya pratipalayami. Pratipalayami, I will just wait for them to come still near. Chayam ashritya. He is already hiding under a tree. Now he takes extra care so that he should not be seen, so that he can observe them and they also will behave freely without being aware of they being noticed by somebody, right? Iti vilokayan sthitaha, and constantly he is watching them, okay? They are coming near, he is hiding just behind the bushes, maybe little interior now, he allows them to come near and goes little behind, takes a back seat, but then from such a position that they will not be able to see him, but he will be able to watch them. Ita Sakyo. So long we had heard it only in the Nepatya. Nepatye Ita Sakyo. And then there was the king's observation on that, and now this Shakuntala and the Sakhis, 2 Sakhis have already come. Anasuya, hala Shakuntale, tvattaha api tatakashyapasya ashrama vrukshakaha priyataraha iti tarkayami. Yena navamalika kusumapelava apitvam etesham alavala purane niyukta. 3 ladies now, 3 young girls are coming, Ita Sakhyo, and Anasuya welcoming says, see, all are carrying Swapramanaanurupa Seichana Ghata for Balapadapepyaha Payodatum, etc. So Anasuya is like little tauntingly she says to Shakuntala, I think that Maharshi Kanava loves the trees more than you. Kanava's love for Shakuntala is known to everybody. But now she is tauntingly saying to Shakuntala, I feel Kanava loves the trees more because though you are so pelava, kusuma pelava apitvam, you are as tender, as delicate as a flower, and yet he appointed you etesham alavala purane. What is that alavala purana? And why Shakuntala is doing that? Shakuntala, this is a task given to Shakuntala, that you have to take care of the Balapadapa around the Kutiya, around the Paranakuti. Now the person who really loves taking care of the trees, will that person regard it as a duty or a task or a work assigned to him or her? If you love the work doesn't remain a work. It is just fun. Shakuntala's remark is exactly the same, and she says, this is what na kevalam tata niyogaha asti me sodara snehaha eteshu. We'll see this next time, because alavala also I want to comment more. This is, a plus lover plus ala, you have to break the word for the nirukti. Alavala is the आळ in Marathi. झाडाच्या भोवती आळ करतात. The basin, the little bit dug up portion around the roots of the trees, so that water could be stored in that, and the roots will get enough water. So that portion, and you make a round, with mud on the corner, and as a heap of that, and little bit digging up around the roots, so that the water reaches the far stretching roots and all. That is called alavala. The English translation is water basin. Basin matlab, that only I remember. Basin is for brushing your teeth, what we use, that is basin for me. So this is alavala. This is in Marathi, I know. I don't know the words in Hindi or other languages, but I hope you understand that. And let us stop here now. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.